How big of a decision is this on Grayscale?
It's massive. This has been a years-long pursuit for Grayscale. Remember, it has been fighting the SEC's decision, and now it has the courts in their favor. If you look at the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, this is the main entity that would face a conversion. This is one of the longest standing, largest trusts holding Bitcoin, in which retail and institutional investors have been able to gain exposure for many, many years now. You are looking at discount to net asset value really narrowing here. At this very moment, it stands at about 24% under its net asset value, but that is expected to narrow as they get closer to the ETF conversion, which has really become a main thesis for investing in this fund. And beyond that, as you're saying, there is a whole host of other ETF filings in the pipeline, and this is boding well for those firms. I will also say that in addition to the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust finding some love on the heels of this decision, you are also seeing Bitcoin itself up above 27,000. It's almost 5% jump in the market right now, because the idea here is that by a potential conversion here for the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust into an ETF, it could draw massive adoption from financial advisors, retail investors. Think about how much money on the sidelines could be sitting there from the likes of the large wirehouses that could become more comfortable about putting their clients into a regulated ETF exposed to Bitcoin rather than spot Bitcoin itself.
Just in, after SEC's catastrophic defeat, a US Congressman calls to fire SEC Chair Gary Gensler. He said, "More evidence that Gary Gensler's actions at the SEC are arbitrary and capricious." Fire Gary Gensler. Congressman Davidson makes reference to an opinion on the ruling made by the court that was filed by Circuit Judge Rao. According to the ruling, the court has reached the conclusion that the rejection of Grayscale's ETF proposal by the SEC was arbitrary and capricious. It goes on to say that the commission did not adequately explain why it treated various items in different ways. As a result, the court granted Grayscale's petition and nullified the order issued by the SEC. It is not the first time that US Congressman Davidson has voiced his dissatisfaction of SEC Chair Gensler or suggested that the SEC should terminate him. Davidson has also said that Gensler should be removed from his position. In July of this past year, he introduced legislation that, if passed, would remove the chair of the SEC and reorganize the agency. Davidson referred to Gensler as a tyrannical chairman and said that the markets needed to be protected from him by Congress. Davidson stated in a piece he published 1 month ago, "It's time for real reform, and it's time to fire Gary Gensler as chair of the SEC. On the other hand, there has been a constant demand for a change in leadership. To be more specific, there is worry about the potential impact that actions taken by the SEC could have on the industry. As a direct result of this, the creation of digital assets is moving away from the United States, from Bloomberg Crypto, even if Grayscale's legal victory in its fight with the SEC doesn't guarantee approval of the first spot. Bitcoin ETF, it's still a big bright spot for the market." Big John replied this tweet by saying, "It's a massive win for Bitcoin, BTC miners, Coinbase, and the crypto industry in general. Does it mean the Grayscale Spot ETF, along with the others, will be granted immediately? No. But a spot ETF is happening. The relevant question is whether it will in 2023 again." From John Deaton. "I'm terrible at price prediction and what impacts price. I never thought XRP would hit an ATH with a great court ruling, unless in a bull market. But I definitely thought it would hit $1. I also thought BTC would experience a 10-15% green candle with a great court ruling. It's a good thing I don't trade for a living."
So Ripple is a leading provider of enterprise blockchain software and solutions, including cross-border payments and crypto liquidity and CBDCs. Well, I want to answer the question by sharing some key insights and data points from the blockchain payments report we just co-published with US Faster Payments Council just last month. It's available on Ripple's website, so please check it out. But for that report, we surveyed about 300 payments professionals across 45 different countries. and to really understand the current adoption of blockchain payments and also the benefits and the challenges as well. And what's really encouraging is 100% of the respondents agree that there are definitive benefits of using blockchain and crypto in payments. And 97% of respondents said they believe that blockchain and crypto will play a significant role in transforming payments in the next 3 years. So clearly, it is no longer a question of if, right? It's more of a question of when and how. When I started working at Ripple 7 years ago, there was still a lot of skepticism and question of does the payments industry really
Since
need...
the meltdown of the altcoin market on August 17th, XRP has struggled despite adverse tailwinds. However, despite the downward trend in price, on-chain data indicates that economic activity on the XRP Ledger blockchain network has not worsened. This is the case despite the price decline. As can be seen in the chart below, the ratio of XRP network value to transaction volume, NVT, has been on an increasing trajectory ever since the month of August began. It reached a local low of 51.85 on August 18th, and as of the 29th of August, it is currently trading at 217, representing a 400% increase from that point. To put it more succinctly, when the NVT ratio grows, as was shown above, it reveals a consistent growth in the underlying economic activity compared to the price action. It is common practice for prices and network demands to rise in tandem with an increase in the volume of transactions. Because of this, the present undervaluation of XRP shows that factors other than network demand could be responsible for driving the price lower. As always, a brief analysis from YG Crypto, anticipating inverted hammer formation, as 2-month candle closes tomorrow. In just 1 day, the 2-month candle for XRP is set to conclude its pattern, displaying the potential configuration of an inverted hammer formation over the span of 426 days. XRP has remarkably upheld its market structure, exhibiting a progressively solid foundation rather than succumbing to instability. The chart unequivocally illustrates this trend consistent with my earlier analyses, wherein I underline the significance of the 0.80C mark as a pivotal macro resistance level. Establishing this price range as a foundation marks a highly bullish macro stance. A projected scenario would see XRP's forthcoming candle, potentially propelling it to the 2.3 range. This achievement, if realized, merely serves as a stepping stone within the larger macro range of 3.3 to 5.5, indicative of a seamless continuation of its upward trajectory. The true pinnacle, akin to Valhalla, resides beyond the 5.5 threshold. Upon this achievement, dissenting voices and skeptics are aptly silenced.